if we can provide value to one customer, we can make them a raving fan, that we can sign another customer. And if we can do that a couple of times, we can end up building a business on top of our customers being successful, right? And so we started talking to the market, and what we learned, and we sell software technology, right? And what we learned is that there's a huge disconnect between software firms and their customers. A lot of them, they sign a contract, they deliver the service, and then you don't hear from them again. That's the destination, right? That's like signing the contract is the destination. Maybe it goes to a third party. And what we believed is that, hey, what if we were looked at as a partner? What if we were looked at as somebody that came in and we were going to have a relationship with them to where we're looking at how's the solution working? What additional needs do you have in the software that we've built and the solution we've delivered? What additional things should we be doing that will help you?
Welcome to Grow Think Tank. This is the one and only place where you will get insight from the founders and the CEOs of the fastest growing privately held companies. I am the host. My name is Gene Hammett. I help leaders and their teams navigate the defining moments of their growth. Are you ready to grow? Creating a customer culture of customer success. I know it sounds like something that everyone's doing, but too many companies I see are focused on the product, focused on sales, focused on other metrics. But I really believe that companies must focus on customer success. Nothing matters more than the results you're getting your customers. If you create a team that's focused on the customer success elements, then you have something really to be proud of and will continue over time. That's exactly what our guest did today. His name is Joe Welu. He is the CEO of Total Expert. They are focused on the financial industry in the software space, but what you can learn from them is things around why you must develop the leaders inside your company, why you must put customers first, how you do that on a day-to-day basis, and how important the core values are to their overall hiring, development, and firing of employees. That and a lot more inside this episode with Joe Welu. Before we dive into the interview, I wanted to remind you that you can actually get a tool that I've been working with clients with for the last couple of years. I've refined this tool that's gone through several iterations. Now we have it completely automated. You can actually go online and fill out the leadership quiz. To get the leadership quiz, just go to theleadershipquiz.com. That's pretty easy, right? Theleadershipquiz.com. What you will get when you do that is you will answer a few questions. You will see where you rate based on the core principles of fast growth companies. If you're ready to grow your company or you want to see where you are, then make sure you go to theleadershipquiz.com. Inside it, you will get insight to where you are, understand where you want to improve, and you will get them mapped into the 10 areas that are most specific to fast growth companies. Again, go to theleadershipquiz.com and you can get that right now. Joe, how are you?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
This is take 2, so you're going to be even better than the last time.
All right. Good to be with you. Thanks for the opportunity.
I've already introduced our guest about who you are and given some background on the leadership. Tell us about Total Expert.
Yeah, so Total Expert is a software company. We build a platform for financial services firms, banks, lenders, mortgage companies. And so if you think about if you've ever went into a bank or a mortgage company, became a customer, and then received a bunch of different communication from that organization that doesn't exactly make sense to you, or feels like maybe they're a little bit disconnected from who you are, right? What your needs are. We help them solve that, right? So we help them actually bring the data together, the communication, human connection, and deliver really a much better experience from the very first part of the customer journey, which is maybe that first brand awareness, all the way through becoming what we call a customer for life. So we're very much focused on helping financial service organizations build a customer for life model inside their companies.
I love that phrase, customer for life. I was working in a workshop with a client, and we had a group of like 10 of their executive leadership team, and we were talking about, great customer service. And I was just like, that's not really inspiring. Like what would be another phrase that would come up with it? And that's exactly what they came up with, customers for life. Where did that come from with you?
For us, it's just been, we just looked at, number one, spent a lot of time just really understanding if I'm a bank or a lender, we focus specifically on financial service organizations, financial institutions. So started to really understand what is it that is the holy grail. If I want to be just an amazing business, where is all the profit at? Where's all the value, right? And what we learned is that lifetime value of the customer, that customer relationship, that's where the gold is, right? That's where the magic opportunity is. If you can come in, provide a service to a customer, be considered a partner, right? If our companies that we work with, they provide different financial products, right? They want to be the financial partner for the lifetime of that customer. And if you think about that loyalty, there's so much value in that loyalty versus just the transaction. A lot of organizations look at, and not just businesses and financial services, but really all businesses, focus on acquiring a customer and doing a transaction. They don't focus on customer for life, right? And so the loyalty is ultimately where the value is.
When we were talking, you met with my team about what really drives the growth of your company. Over 3,000% growth over the last 3 years, really impressive. But it was really all about this. So what steps did you take to ensure that your employees are customer focused?
So customer success for us, it's our number one core value, right? So we have our vision of where we want to go with the company. We have our core values, which we hire and fire on those core values and really operate and make decisions for the business on those core values. You have to fundamentally believe what we believe to be a great cultural fit here. And customer success is number one for us, and it has been since the beginning. And the premise was very simple. When we were building the first minimum viable version of our product, we thought, listen, if we can provide value to one customer, we can make them a raving fan, that we can sign another customer. And if we can do that a couple of times, we can end up building a business on top of our customers being successful, right? And so we started talking to the market, and what we learned, and we sell software technology, right? And what we learned is that there's a huge disconnect between software firms and their customers. A lot of them, they sign a contract, they deliver the service, and then you don't hear from them again. That's the destination, right? That's like signing the contract is the destination. Maybe it goes to a third party. And what we believed is that, hey, what if we were looked at as a partner? What if we were looked at as somebody that came in and we were going to have a relationship with them to where we're looking at how's the solution working? What additional needs do you have in the software that we've built and the solution we've delivered? What additional things should we be doing that will help you? And so we just built the whole company on the foundation that if we're driving value and making our customers successful, that would create the momentum to build a company. And we've just never taken our eye off that ball.
Hold on for a second. Joe just talked about hiring and firing on core values. What does that mean? Well, you want to understand the core values to a point where you actually are hiring people who already align with those values. If you bring in people who don't align, you will stress to lead them. You will stress to engage them and inspire them to get the work. And you will end up probably losing them because it's probably not the right fit for them. They might operate better under a different set of values that a company has. You've got to be clear about your values. You must also develop people by those values, and you end up firing them. When people don't align to the values the way you want them to and the way the culture is developing, really a great culture will tell you who you should let go of. But in this case, make sure that you are hiring and firing and developing your employees along the core values of your company. Back to the interview. Joe, are there any specific strategies that you think stand out what you do as rituals or practices that make this possible?
So first of all, it's going to seem very simple, but we talk about it all the time, right? We talk about the fact that every meeting we have, customer success is number one, is written on the whiteboard. It is the focus. And then we always go back to, okay, is what we're working on, is this project or this new initiative, is this going to add value and help our customers win? Or is it some shiny object that we think is cool? So it's just the main thing is staying focused on it every single week. And then, of course, we've got an obsessive culture of being involved with our customers, meaning we're listening to their feedback. We're going out and spending time with them. I mean, not at the moment, I'm not traveling a lot, obviously, but I travel a ton. I have a chief customer officer who travels almost nonstop, and it's all about sitting down with the leadership of our customers and listening, right? It's listening to how we can help. And sometimes those conversations are, hey, you guys are screwing this up and we have to own it and make improvements. But I think the line of communication with the customer is a best practice that it's maybe not natural to companies that start with maybe technical founders or product focused founders that say, hey, we're just going to build the best product. And that maybe works for some businesses, but we sell enterprise software. And for us, it's all about the continuous communication and partnership.
Is there anything within the feedback loop between customers and your team that you have seen works kind of really smoothly or has some impact to the business?
I can tell you what has worked and what hasn't worked, but I think ultimately having clarity and being able to have a two-way conversation with the customer. They may come and say, hey, we want this, this, and this, and we want you to build that. And sometimes you have to listen to what they're saying, but more importantly, you have to understand what they're trying to accomplish. Okay. So what's the outcome? They may think they need the product or solution to do X, Y, and Z, but that's not necessarily in line with the outcome they're trying to drive, right? So I'll give you an example. A lot of our customers, when we first started scaling the business, they were focused on, well, I really, I want my salespeople to log in. And if they're not going to log in, they're not going to use the product and we're not going to pay for the product. So I said, listen, are you most interested in having your people log in, or are you most interested in getting net new business and growth out of those salespeople? And if you could get the growth from the salespeople without them logging in, would that be valuable to you? And the answer, of course, is yes. So then it was a question of being able to go in and say, okay, make sure we're understanding the outcome, not just what they're asking for.
Has there been any mistakes that you've made that you can share with us around, aligning the team around this big core value of customer focus?
Mistakes, I would say that, listen, every leader, every company makes mistakes all the time, right? So it's the answer would be the list is way too long to read it out to you today. We're always learning. Every single project, every single new deployment, we have little nuggets on, okay, what worked well and what doesn't work well. So I think that having a focus on continuous evaluation of how you're doing things is maybe a mistake that we made. We didn't do that frequently enough. We did not evaluate and analyze our process quickly enough in some cases, right? So we thought, well, this process worked for this situation, but then you got a little bit of a bigger customer, a little bit of a different use case, and so you assume your processes that worked at 5 million in revenue are going to work at 15, and it might not be the case. So I think the mistakes that I've learned is not evaluating and analyzing the current processes continuously.
Hold on for a second. Joe just talked about the need for continuous improvement. It's one of the mistakes that he made as a leader, not putting enough attention on the improvement of the product early on. When you think about the product and the feedback that you're getting from your customers, that feedback loop is very important to not only to receive, but also act upon. And getting your team to understand that continuous improvement is the way we grow and optimize the impact that this has. This whole episode is on customer success. So what are you doing to improve this continuous improvement inside your organization to optimize that experience? Back to the interview. Love it. One last question for you, Joe, and hopefully you can think of something that really did shift the way you lead. But is there a defining moment within your own leadership where you had to shift your view of who you were and what was going on, whether it be around confidence or courage?
So I think ultimately there's a lot of defining moments at each stage. And I would say, probably around 5 million in revenue for us. I woke up and realized that my most important job was going to be focused on fewer things. Okay. And I could no longer do everything, and I couldn't by brute force make things happen. So I had to focus on make sure I was clearly aligning the vision at all times, and then articulating that and communicating it out to the organization. And then I was ultimately my most important job after that was making sure that we had the right people in the right seats, and then coaching and inspiring those people. So you have to learn to drive outcomes through people. And that was a big moment where I remember distinctly that around that time, just being frustrated to where things started to kind of break down. I was able to make so much progress up until that point really fast. And I was able to do everything not everything myself, but I was able to just by sheer force make things happen, right? And then you realize, oh, this is like the wheels are going to start falling off the bus here. And so around that time, I started to really dive deep and become a student of how do I develop the people around me and help them get better so that we can get better as a company.
Well, I appreciate you sharing that. That's one reason why I put together these interviews, is to be able to share those insights and to be able to share the journey and content around that. So thanks for sharing your wisdom with us, and really appreciate it.
My pleasure, buddy.
Fantastic. Love talking to leaders that have transitioned through multiple leverage points or defining moments inside their own leadership to get to the point where they truly are, know that they still got more to evolve. When I talked to Joe about where he's going next, it really was inspiring to see that he's continuously learning, he's continuously evolving as a leader, and that's what's necessary to be the kind of leader that his team deserves. When you think about your own leadership, how are you evolving? Are you being challenged beyond just the books you read and the articles that you scan? And I know this because I write for these publications. I can see that most everybody's scanning these articles and they aren't really reading them enough to actually apply the message inside them. When you think about your own leadership, are you evolving? If you have any questions about that, make sure you reach out to me, Gene@genehammett.com. And as always, lead with courage. We'll see you next time.